I'm Cody, born and raised in Bridgewater, a small town in Vermont. I've never really had a reason to leave, but that all changed on a typical, mundane night shift at the DVD rental store where I work. Life is an unpredictable journey, and anything can happen at any moment, even a spine-chilling experience that shakes you to your core. I kept the experience to myself for years, but now I feel ready to share it. It happened many years while doing my rounds through the DVD rental store. I spotted an old and worn-out DVD on one of the shelves. It was a horror movie called Glued, which I had never heard of before, and my curiosity got the best of me. So, I decided to take it home to watch after work, as our store policy allowed us to take home one DVD per day of work. After my shift at the DVD rental store, I returned home and settled into my usual routine of making dinner and watching a movie. However, as I played the low-budget horror film, Glued, a feeling of unease began to wash over me. The film followed a serial killer who liked to glue his victims to chairs, and with each passing moment, I couldn't shake the eerie feeling that I was being watched. The hairs on my arms stood on end, and a cold sweat broke out across my forehead. Suddenly, the electric fan in my living room began to spin wildly, even though it wasn't turned on. The room grew colder, and I could see my breath in the air. I tried to stand up, but it was like I was glued to my chair. "Hello? Is anyone there?" I called out, my voice trembling with fear. Silence greeted me, and I could hear nothing but the sound of my own panicked breathing. The scene on the screen changed, and I saw a person going through the same thing as me. It was like the movie was coming to life before my very eyes. Then, I heard a sinister laugh, and both of us turned our heads towards the voice. It was the serial killer with a grin on his face from the movie. Although he is on the screen, it felt like he was right there in the room with me. In desperation, I tried to turn off the DVD player, but the remote wouldn't work. I frantically tried to reach the cord with my feet to unplug the DVD player, but I couldn't reach it. Finally, with no other options, I grabbed a nearby lamp and hurled it towards the DVD player, smashing it to pieces. The movie stopped, and the fan slowed down. I was left shaken and terrified in my own home, with a broken lamp and a smashed DVD player. Shaking from the experience, I went to bed right away. The next day, when I returned to work, my coworker Sarah asked me what had happened. "Are you okay, Cody? You look like you've seen a ghost." "I watched this weird movie last night called Glued," I explained. "It was like the movie came to life, and I was stuck in it." Sarah looked at me skeptically. "There's no movie called Glued. Are you sure it wasn't just some knockoff bootleg thing?" "No, I'm sure of it. I remember the title clearly," I insisted. "Well, let's check our system and see if we have it," Sarah suggested. We checked the store's database, but there was no record of any movie with that title. I couldn't believe it. Was I losing my mind? "I have to go," I told Sarah, feeling a sudden urge to check on the DVD player. At home, I frantically tried to get the DVD out of my smashed DVD player, but it came as a shock when there was nothing inside of the player. "What's happening to me?" I whispered to myself. After confiding in Sarah about my experience, she listened intently and then smiled. "You know, Cody, life is too short to stay in one place and not take risks. Maybe this experience was a sign that it's time for you to explore the world." Her words stuck with me, and I realized she was right. I had been living a sheltered life in Bridgewater, never venturing too far from home. But after that night, I knew I needed to break out of my comfort zone. So, I started saving up and planning my travels. I went to places I had only ever dreamed of visiting, from the bustling streets of Tokyo to the sun-soaked beaches of Bali. Each new destination brought me a sense of freedom and adventure that I had never felt before. Now, years later, I've been to 17 countries and counting. I've met incredible people and experienced different cultures, and I know there's so much more out there waiting for me. That experience with the mysterious DVD taught me that we never know what will happen next, but we can choose how we respond to it. And for me, that meant embracing the unknown and living life to the fullest.